Hello Guardians, Assassins, and viewers. Today we're going to go over a very important development update that happened on 1-11-18, coming from the gaming company called Bungie for Destiny 2. Most of you would already know this because why else would you watch the video? The Destiny 2 content categories now is something that we need to take a little bit of time on. We're going to go over expansions, seasons, and the dreaded elephant in the room, the Eververse store. What to expect from each one. So let's go over expansions first. When you buy an expansion such as Curse of Osiris or the new upcoming expansion, you should receive new campaign and strikes, a new destination rewards such as armor, weapons, a new raid layer, new Crucible maps, and new legendary and exotic gear. For seasons, now this is something that every single Destiny player should be able to have access to as long as they purchase Destiny 2. This would be Iron Banner, faction rallies, seasonal reputation rewards, endgame playlists, seasonal events, and new features and updates. Well, time to go over it. We got to talk about it. Let's talk about Eververse. The only thing that Eververse should have in her stores are customization items, boons, and emotes. Now, these three things are just things to make your Guardian look a little bit cooler or a little bit more threatening. Because, come on, let's face it, nobody wants to sit there and save a galaxy if they look like they just rolled out of bed or rolled out of a trash heap. Now, this is not something that people would strive to do. I mean, come on, how many times do you want to go have your photo taken after you just rolled out of bed and literally have time to do nothing else? That's a little bit of poor planning there. Well, getting back to Eververse, we're going to go. They are trying to shift the balance with the new content in favor of activity rewards in Bright Engrams. This includes ghosts, sparrows, and ships. To date, these are only found in Bright Engrams. To achieve the achievement reward pools, on the other hand, for each level after you gain the maximum level, should give you a Bright Engram. We'll provide a gameplay path to earn Bright Engrams and all content rewards, including event Engrams. Now, that's great because some of the events that they had in the past did not always give you the Engrams that you are entitled to. And let's face it, you can only do an event so many times before the milestone goes away, and you don't get anything for it. So it's no longer going to be a let's log in, finish our event, our event quest for the day, get a couple Bright Engrams, probably not get the ones that we want, and then move on to other things, whether that's different activities in the game or another game altogether. They state here that we'll give players more direct purchase items and adjustments to Bright Engrams to allow players to get in-game items they want more often. Now, this is basically stating that if you sit there and you see a excellent ornament for one of the exotics that you have, that basically if you stick to it, you'll end up getting it eventually. This was not always the case, and this was not the case during pretty much any of the other events that they've had in Destiny 2 so far. So, for all you players that actually want to look a little bit nicer, that's actually a very good thing. Other rewards for Crimson Days that will start February 13th, which should be pretty much the reset directly after this blog post was posted, should give you Engrams for completing Nightfalls, raids, and Crimson Day milestones. This will reward you exclusive legendary emotes, weapon skins, and exotic sparrows. This also includes ornaments for some of your exotics. The XP rates, on the other hand, the XP rates have been a problem for quite some time. Bungie has had this thing called XP throttling that at first they didn't tell the players about, and then they tried to fix it, which didn't exactly work out. Well, the good news about all that is they're still trying to fix the XP rates, so they're at least still working on them. Their goal with any updates to XP are transparent and consistent to XP gains regardless of your preferred activity. That means you could go into Destiny 2, literally run around the EDZ just shooting stuff, and you should be able to get a decent XP gain compared to what it used to be. Not exactly sure when that update's coming out, but that one we all should be waiting for. There should also be a roadmap now that there are 3 releases that we want to put on your radar right now. Later releases will get more specific updates as they get closer. So let's go over the January 30th update. So this one's up and coming, and I can't wait for this. Instead of just Masterwork weapons, we're now getting Masterwork armor. Now that could be a million different things, but that is an outstanding piece of information for all of us. We're expecting to expand the Masterwork system to include armor. Masterwork armor provides increased damage reduction while you're using your super. Now, for PvE, okay, yeah, I could see that maybe a little bit, but for PvP, that's phenomenal. Now, you can also re-roll the armor stat type on a Masterwork armor or similar to Masterwork weapons, and you can upgrade the piece of armor to a Masterwork by spending Masterwork cores and legendary shards, just like the weapons. They're supposed to be doing a raid rework for the reward system that you get from completing a raid. They're going to update raid rewards to make them more unique and interesting, and now they feature raid mods with raid-specific perks. If you guys don't know what this is, try to check up on Destiny 1 videos with some of the content that was dropped off when they completed certain raids in Destiny 1. They have armor that would do things like do more damage to Fallen in Fallen-specific raids, or in this case, it would be do more damage to Cabal in the Eater of Worlds raid or the Leviathan raid, which that right there, that's outstanding. That would get me to raid again. Why? Because it's no longer, congratulations, I have this piece of armor, but there are 60 other pieces of armor with the exact same stats and do the exact same thing, so basically armor just became cosmetic. Instead, I'm throwing on my raid set, so we can go in there and just crush everything, which is the way that it should be. The more power you get, the more powerful you want to feel. What would the point be of going from level 20 to 25 if you did not gain any power or any advantages from leveling up? At that point, it's just a number that floats around your name. So I think we all are in a pretty decent amount of agreement there that the raid-specific armor, that is going to be a phenomenal update. They're also adding ghosts and raid-specific perks that have a chance to drop from the Leviathan raid and the Eater of Worlds raid layer for the final encounters. They're intending to return to creating more raid and other activities. Unique rewards are definitely in our future. The February update. They have something that they should never taken out of Destiny at all. They have strike scoring and high score tracking. Now that doesn't sound too interesting to some people, but for the competitive players, that's phenomenal. That's like getting a 5.0 in Crucible. You just did awesome, and everybody can see it. In February, Nightfall high scores will be exposed in-game via new emblems and will unlock rewards. They also have plans for clan and community high scores as well, but that's still in the works. Now, they're also going to go over in this February update a modification for the mods for 2.0. They're going to rework Masterworks and the mods that you can actually put in your armor and weapons to actually make it more beneficial while you're doing activities. This should greatly impact your power. Now, that is a quote directly coming from Bungie themselves. They're aiming for a February release, but the scope, the reworking there, could push parts or all of it back to early spring. They'll be evaluating how mods play into Bright Engrams, as pretty much whenever you get Bright Engram, you normally get like a blue mod or something like that. Well, that's going to change a little bit So therefore, they do not turn into a pay-to-win game. That's a very smart move because you know what? If Destiny 2 becomes a pay-to-play game, there's not going to be very many videos on it because I'm not going to be playing it that much. I'm not spending money on a brand new Xbox One with Destiny 2 and the expansions to be outplayed by somebody who has more money than me. Now that just doesn't, that doesn't float with me very well. You have people out there with obsessive, almost obsessive compulsive behaviors when it comes to this game, and how disappointing would that be if somebody with more money just comes by and squashes everything you just did simply by paying for it? That's absolutely ridiculous. They're also looking to increase the quick play for PvP, I believe. They're adjusting game mode rules to increase the pace of quick play and power ammo acquisition in quick play. That means, yes, you're going to be able to use your rocket launchers a whole lot more, which to some people, that's kind of a bummer, but to other people, that's fantastic. Because you know what? The the grenade launcher with the tracking spiders, that thing is awesome. I just wish we had more ammo for it in the middle of PvP matches. Now, they're also adding Tower Chat to PC. Now, that I have a funny feeling had a little bit to do with Blizzard Entertainment. Blizzard Entertainment, in their hit game World of Warcraft, had PC chat in the tower. They had it in certain gaming zones. They had it almost everywhere. So if you had somebody in the area that's doing the same quest as you, all you got to do is request, hey, I'm doing so-and-so quest. I could use a hand. Anybody else doing this quest? And 9 times out of 10, you'd get a response. So therefore, now it's not just one person going through. It's however many people you desire. Exotic replication reduction. This will prevent players from receiving the same exotic twice in a row. You will still receive duplicates, just not consecutively. Now, that, on the other hand, that's been angering quite a bit of players, because who wants 7 pairs of Orpheus rigs out of 7 exotic Engrams? Now, to me, that's almost a waste of an exotic Engram. Well, it is. Congratulations, you just got 3 legendary shards and a little bit of glimmer for your exotic Engram. That, on the other hand, is highly disappointing. Fire team members that you have while you're doing public events, normally, you'd sit there, you'd have to tell your fire team where you're going in order for them to be able to join you for certain landing zones, but that's actually going to go away because your fire team members will start showing up on your destination maps. No more having to ask your fire team where they went and where they fast traveled to. You're just going to know because you open up your map. You'll actually see little blips on your map to where your fire team went. So that's wrapping up the February update. So time to move on to spring 2018. Let's talk about Crucible. I love Crucible. Give me more. They want to give players new reasons to play, more variety, and balance improvements. Spring will bring a number of exciting, long-awaited features to the Crucible, which we've been asking Bungie for this for years, almost 4 years now. It's 3 years and some change. So, with the beginning of Season 3, they'll be introducing seasonal Crucible ranks. This will be 2 different ranks for 2 different playlists, one of them called Valor and one of them called Glory. Valor is a progression rank that goes up as you complete matches. Winning helps you move faster, and losing will not give you any penalties. So basically it's hey, look at how much I actually PvP. But then we have the Glory playlist, which, I'll be honest with you, is very enticing. A progression rank that goes up when you win and goes down when you lose. So there's no safety net, which is absolutely perfect. It is completely performance-based, and that will give you your true standing in Crucible if you play enough. They're also bringing along the long-awaited private matches, and that should be coming to all players in Destiny 2. They'll be able to invite their friends to play on a map or a mode of their choosing. That means my kids who get cocky sometimes are going to be able to be like, hey, Dad, I think we can take you today. And you know what? Sometimes they may be right, but we'll be able to see because now they have the private matches where it's only mano-y-mano or, team versus team or however they decide to set it up. They're also bringing back the wonderful 6v6 playlist. Now, this is great in a sense because that's more people to kill. That's like you're starving, you pay $1 at McDonald's and you get a cheeseburger. Well, instead of getting one cheeseburger, now you got 6 for that dollar. So more bang for your buck. I like it. This is also in addition to the 4v4 game modes that are already in it. The Mayhem event that everybody just hated because of the Warlock glitch is returning as a limited time event during Season 3 and going forward. So this is something that they should be able to keep in their rotations. If you guys are unaware of the Warlock glitch, pretty much there are videos out there on how to set it up, but it basically set it up that Warlocks could blow their super anytime that they wanted, as many times as they wanted, without repercussions. Additional fixes were making them it's going to stop people from quitting matches, which is wonderful. I hope these people who quit matches, I hope they get punished. Because you know what? I'm really not into dropping into the middle of a match where they're already losing by, the other team's winning by over 40 points, and it's your job to sit there and try to even it out or possibly score a win, depending on how much time is there. Well, the only reason those situations come by is because of how many player base are actually playing Crucible at the time, and how many people actually quit during the middle of a match, which is not always good. Talk about your sore loser sometime, right? Well, additional highlights will be weapon and ability balance pass. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but basically the sandbox adjustments based on player feedback and data from the live game. The sandbox team will share specific changes as we lead up to Season 3. Now that's wonderful. That basically means all your sandboxing, or basically all your Crucible play, they're going to listen to your feedback. How many companies do that? That's wonderful. Well, there's also exotic weapon and armor balancing passes. Exotic weapons and armor are receiving a comprehensive design pass to ensure that they stand out from the rest of the gear to offer new, exciting, powerful ways to play. Well, who wants to put on an exotic and feel weaker or just maybe half of a percentage stronger than you already felt? That's almost a waste of an exotic slot. Some of the exotics in Destiny 2 right now, I don't think I will ever use, but I collected them for collecting purposes, and that's pretty much about it. Congratulations, I have it. I never want to see it again. It's going in my vault. Well, hopefully they're going to try to change that around to make all exotics a little bit more relevant when you go to use them. So instead of your 0.5%, for a power, the excellent thing would be, let's go 60% here. So congratulations, I just blew my super. I have 2 exotics that I'm using, 1 armor, 1 weapon piece. And congratulations, I now feel 200 times more powerful just because I'm using these items. That's excellent. I mean, what would the point be of getting an exotic item if it doesn't do anything special? But in this case, they're saying that they're going to try to balance it out a little bit more and make your exotics feel more powerful, like exotics should be. Hint, hint, Destiny 1. There's also seasonal reputation here. Seasonal reputation vendors will now display a seasonal ranking, which is wonderful. Each reputation will unlock unique seasonal rewards and reset each season. That means you have something that you can grind. You can grind rep just like you did in Destiny 1 and actually receive some fantastic rewards. Hopefully they line up everything like they did in Destiny 1, because everybody knows that most of the factions had a secret exotic when you hit level 25 with them. The reputation level of 25, they would give you a class exotic that you could only get from that faction, which is outstanding because all 3 factions had it. Let's talk about Iron Banner and faction rallies now, come to think about it. In addition to the changes that you will see in Iron Banner and faction rallies that return this month, we will be continuing making some of this writing here is a little bit confusing, but basically what they're saying is that these should be experiences that you were looking forward to, and they want to make their events more unique and actually worth playing, more rewarding, which that's definitely a good thing, because nothing crawls under my skin more when you go to sign up for a Crucible match because a new event popped up and you have to wait a half an hour because nobody's playing. Now, that's a little bit excessive to me. Playlist reputation reduction. Now, this is wonderful because I don't want to play the same map 16 times. It's boring. I mean, you know the map. You might be able to take your first match, run around the map and figure out where everything is, which is wonderful. That's what players should be doing. But it doesn't mean I want to play that one stage for the rest of my life. I mean, you need some variety there. And when I say the rest of my life, that could be 5 seconds according to a Guardian, or, the full 10 minutes, which would be, that's kind of cool. I like that. The end game player pursuits. So pretty much the end game, like you just reached your power level that you want, you completed the campaign, and now you're looking for that end game activity. They're agreeing to listen to more feedback on that, and the balance between achievement and bright Engram rewards, well, they're going to be working on those as well, like they stated earlier. The adjustments might shift towards more rewards in specific endgame activities instead of generic XP grinding for bright Engrams. They're excited to share these details soon, when they work them out, that is. Well, they're also coming up with what was rumored to be a multiple emote wheel. Some of you guys might be familiar with this from other games, but a multiple emote wheel in Destiny, that's perfect. That means I could sit there, I could take a selfie, drop the mic, and sweep up the trash the second that I'm done. And that's 3 exotic emotes all on one single character. Now that you could almost make an entire video of just by itself. So, for all you collectors out there, you guys collect, certain scout rifles, pistols, auto rifles, things like that, and after a while, they just eat up your vault space. So, what are you to do when you max out pretty much and get most of the items that you want, and then Bungie comes out with new weapons? Well, you got no more space for it, so you got to delete things out of your vault. Hence, it's going to cut down on, your collection there. Well, they've noticed this, and they're going to be reworking this, and they're going to add 50 more slots to player vaults. If I'm not mistaken, that's almost an entire extra page that you can add stuff to, which is wonderful, but hopefully they continue to add 50 slots every single time they pull out new exotics or new weapons, or, just pretty much anything new that you figure you'd like to keep. They're also adding an exotic accessory tab, which is absolutely wonderful, because that means exotics will no longer take up your vault space. And this area should be for like exotic ships, sparrows, ghosts. I'm guessing weapons as well. They also have PC clan chat. So that's basically like a chat room that it doesn't matter where your clan members are in the world. You can sit there and you can talk to them. You guys can have like ongoing conversations, or get tips and hints, which, that's what a clan should be. We should all be helping each other out here to gain that maximum light and to crush all the way up through the prestige modes of these endgame content. If there wasn't a way to progress through that endgame content to where you're able to destroy it in prestige, what's the point? Congratulations, you went through it once, you know what it is. You didn't get anything special. All the weapons and armor, yeah, they might look different, but there are other armor pieces out there that do the exact same thing. To me, that sounds extremely pointless. So they're looking to change around quite a few things here, to say the least. They should be bringing back heroic strike challenges, which that's something I can't wait for. They'll be introducing modifiers and add more gameplay to the variety of the experience. So that in itself, if you guys are old Destiny 1 players, you guys are probably excited about that just as much as I am. And for everybody who's new, imagine a strike that you can sit there and you have other objectives to complete. So you can sit there and you can get even better rewards at the end. Now that sounds like outstanding. That's something that I'd say most people are going to shoot for. So that should wrap up the Crucible talk and some of the other stuff that's happening in spring 2018. So let's move on to fall 2018, quote unquote, or sooner, which I doubt it will be sooner, but you know what? Better late than never. They're working on a lot of things, such as item collections and records, weapon slot and archetype improvements, additional Crucible playlist, like Rumble. Yeah, that's right. Who wants to go? 1v5. Let's do this. Better clan rewards. Masterwork exotics, which yeah. Give me some exotics that are masterworks. The question is, will you only be able to put on one masterwork exotic on one piece of gear, or will each one of your pieces of gear, weapons and armor, be able to have a masterwork exotic in? Because if you're able to have a masterwork exotic in every slot, that has to be a substantial power increase to be able to get through your endgame content faster, which who doesn't want that? There's also pinnacle weapon and gear improvements, which would be, I'm guessing that would be like the Antiope D and things of that nature. Trials of the 9 improvements, because we all love trials, but let's face it, there are some diehards out there that just can't let you get a win. I mean, it's just not going to happen. But they also have coming up shaders and dismantling. So I don't know about you guys, but I have over 300 shaders of one specific thing, and I don't want to stand there for 2 hours deleting them. I mean, it's almost pointless. Yeah, you get a little bit out of it. You get a little glimmer or a little bit of bright dust, or in this case, some legendary shards. But who really wants to waste all their time deleting things? I mean, it takes forever. The future of guided games is also going to be taken a look at. I mean, who wants to sign up for a guided game and wait over 2 hours to have somebody pick you up and try to run it? I mean, that's a little bit ridiculous. And I'm almost willing to bet that there's a raid being ran almost at all times because of how many clans are out there. They're also going to be addressing solo versus fire team matchmaking, which will be wonderful. I'm guessing this might be a possible buff to your character, as if you queue solo, if you end up going against people who are, let's say you go up against an entire clan of 4, or in this case 6, you at least have a little bit of an edge. That's perfect. They communicate with each other, but the solo players really just talk to themselves, or if they're lucky, they can get in the in-game chat and kind of sway other solo players to actually help them out. This was a large update and kind of like a heads up here on what's going to be happening in the future of Destiny 2. And you know what? I kind of hope all of these changes will happen before the next expansion comes out. So for all you Guardians out there and my special group of assassins, hey, we'll catch you in the next one. And if you liked what you heard today and you would like to hear more, go ahead and click that subscribe button and you'll be hearing from me shortly. Alright guys, have a good day.